All day, we're going inside Johnson & Johnson, the world's biggest healthcare company, reported earnings this morning, beating the analyst estimates. Net income rose 13% from $3.8 billion up to $4.3 billion. The drug maker also raised its 2014 forecast thanks to a new hepatitis C drug, which is on its way to so-called blockbuster status in the first year. Here's Carol Masser from J&J's headquarters down in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
What caught my attention is the pharmaceutical sales at Johnson & Johnson. They came in at the quarter of at $8.5 billion. That's up $1 billion from the quarter before. And pharmaceuticals has been the real bright spot among the company, making up for slower growth among their two other major businesses. We're talking about medical devices and also the consumer business. So pharmaceuticals have really been the bright spot, and we're seeing that growth continue in this quarter.
We'll go back a few years, and hardly a day went by without some kind of J&J recall. Now, to help right the ship, the company brought in someone by the name of Sandi Peterson, its first outside hire for a top executive position.
I've seen you kind of referred to as the fixer, or Ms. Fix-It. Are you? Are you?
Am I? I like to fix things. What can I say? I do like to fix things.
Sandi Peterson came to Johnson & Johnson with a reputation for fixing things at other companies. And at J&J, there was plenty to fix, including massive global recalls between 2009 and 2012. There was also a government takeover of 3 Tylenol plants and billions of dollars in payments to resolve lawsuits. Most of this happened before Peterson came on board in 2012.
Coming in, how much did you know, and what did you think initially about whether or not they could tackle all of the recalls, the manufacturing problems, and so on, the lawsuits?
It was fixable. It would take time, but it was very fixable.
Part of what needed to be fixed, dealing with a company that included some 250 businesses that some say was too big to manage.
We have become a much larger, more complicated company with many, many more businesses, which, you know, it was a wonderful thing, but we really needed to say, how do we actually manage this much larger enterprise in a different way going forward?
The new way forward began in 2010 when J&J began streamlining operations and putting in uniform quality control standards around the globe.
We basically took a pause and said, we're going to go to every single plant and make sure that we understand what we need to do to have consistent, appropriate standards in all of these plants. So we didn't have an integrated system. Now we do.
So it wasn't like you knocked down a ton of factories or had to buy a lot of new technology to kind of get up to snuff, if you will. That's not what it was all about.
No, it was not about that at all.
J&J did, though, gut its Fort Washington, Pennsylvania factory, spending $100 million to rebuild it from the ground up. Expected to open early next year, the plant will remain under government monitoring for 5 years.
So if someone sees a J&J recall, as a consumer, as an investor, how should they read that?
They should read it as, we did the right thing. The thing they should say is, did they take quick action? I wouldn't interpret a recall necessarily as a bad thing, because of the systems that we have in place, the safety metrics that we have in place, the quality metrics.
75% of the consumer products that were recalled are back on the shelf, with the rest coming by 2016.
It takes a few years to turn a business in the right direction, but we've actually got better momentum than I thought we would have.
Johnson & Johnson, known for a number of iconic brands like Listerine. Do you know it's been around for 125 years? The original formula, it's gone through some changes, and believe it or not, they're actually still tinkering with it.
I'm just the latest subject to contribute a saliva sample at J&J's Oral Care Lab in New Jersey.
Is there a technique to this?
J&J researchers regularly collect saliva donations from colleagues, grow bacteria, and compare mouth germs before and after using Listerine.
So why do you keep doing these tests over and over? If it's obvious that Listerine works, why do you keep taking samples from people?
Well, we're always looking to improve the formulation.
Do germs change that much?
The germs don't change, but we're constantly changing the formula.
Why the constant changes, considering Listerine is already a core J&J brand with nearly $1.8 billion in sales and growing, and is the #1 brand globally with 36% of the market, beating Colgate Plaques, Crest, Oral-B, and Scope by a wide margin. It's the potential for emerging market and international growth that keeps J&J's oral care lab humming. Take the Asia Pacific. Industry researchers expect the oral care market to grow at an average annual rate of 5% in the next 5 years. That's more than double the rate.
A lot of effort.
To go after those faster-growing emerging markets means constant experimentation in a place where J&J has never allowed cameras before.
This is our room where we grow the biofilms. We call it the odor chamber. So we simply...
What am I smelling?
You're smelling all the bad breath bacteria. Here is where we would grow the bacteria. They'll incubate in here for 5 days. So what we have here is all of the bacteria that are present in someone's mouth.
There's a lot.
Before brushing.
And it smells like bad breath. Oh my God, it really smells like bad breath.
After rinsing with Listerine for 30 seconds, we see a result like this.
It's experiments in these rooms that have helped to produce the 25 different Listerine sold globally, including green tea Listerine for consumers in Asia.
Listerine Natural Green Tea.
And the quest for the next formulation continues.
Grow bacteria, grow biofilm, then kill them, right?
Carol Masser, Bloomberg.
You can watch our full coverage of Johnson & Johnson all day right here on Bloomberg Television, also on our tablet app, BTV+.